to...
Zushin.
What do you think this says about how they're trying to...
This Zushin, this Zushin and carry ban tells me two things. Zushin is known for her early game presence, while the carry is known for bursting in the late game. And a key pick that's currently meta right now, that's being countered by both the carry and the Zushin, is Fredrin. Because the Zushin can lock down a Fredrin while the carry can just burst him down. So I feel like banning these two early could imply that they have some plans to pick Fredrin early.
Very interesting stuff right here. We'll see if we do see that Fredrin pick go out here, because he is a very common hero pick in these matches right here, especially at the higher levels. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. It's very interesting because usually banning phases ban out roamers, but looks like we're banning 3 gold laners right off the bat, even 4 if you consider Zora when she's flexed. So
Right.
it could be a battle of the hero pool here in the gold lane.
Will be a test on which gold laner has the more wide hero pool right here. Just waiting on the other ban from AP Brent. Ooh, first pick,
And they first pick
Lee
Lee
Sun
Sin Shin.
Shin.
Very questionable. They could still flex Lee Sin Shin to the gold lane and pick the Fredrin, but if they pick Lee Sin Shin, I don't really see the point of banning carry this early. We'll see what they plan to do. And they pick up the Grok for the early game presence. This could be paired with other early game mages. I do recommend the Zetian here just to counter the vision of the Lee Sin Shin. And she also goes pretty well with the Grok.
Interesting.
Sicilian.
The graphics should be fixed on the stream, by the way. It should be showing the
Nice.
correct sides now. Apologies for that.
I don't see the vision behind the Sicilian pick. Even if I did, I don't think it's too early to pick the Sicilian. Especially now, they AP Brent actually capitalized on that mistake, got Hilda and Yuzong, which gives them even more early game control, which may suffocate the late game reliance of the Sicilian. I don't think a Grok is enough.
As you predicted, the Fredrin coming out here. Interesting stuff. A bit telegraphed, wouldn't you say? Going
Now,
into the
both
second set
sides
of
still
bans.
lack a gold laner unless they do flex Lee Sin Shin into the gold lane, but I think it's pretty unlikely. So they could just suffocate the gold lane picks here and force out some really non-meta picks.
Will we get that Hanabi game over here? Please, please, bro. Running down that ban counter. What will reset ban?
And they ban nothing.
Ooh, is this a strat? Is this some
Is either
mental gameplay?
disrespectful or okay? And they say that they couldn't decide.
Oh. This is some next level mental stuff right here. The Granger ban. Maybe AP Brent is trying to do that suffocation thing where they will just try to take away all of the viable gold laners. Banning Kimi as well. Are both of them doing it? Harith as well. Be very interesting to see which gold laners these teams end up picking. Looks like we get the Hanabi and the Obsidia.
You do
I was
get
right.
what you wish for.
Oh my goodness, the Hanabi pick. Incredible.
The problem here is I don't exactly see how the Hanabi will shred the Grok, but it does give her that leeway of being ganked, so I see the vision.
Exactly. Number 1 Dark System pick over here, Hanabi.
As for their mid laner, I still do... Ooh.
Lunox.
Okay, that's actually a really good pick. It makes up for the lack of burst of the Hanabi, and now the Lunox actually gives them a tank buster to kill the Fredrin and the Grok. They go for the
W.
Mincithar.
What is Mincithar trying to do in this team comp?
The
right here?
Mincithar could just be a comfort pick here because I don't really see what dashes he could capitalize on.
Right. Maybe it is. But at that point, it feels like there are a lot of better options. Unless Mincithar really is your one trick. Very interesting. So,
Alright, I would like to request the reset players to now move into their own VCs. You guys are not allowed to watch the stream while playing.
yes sir, yes sir.
And Miguel will get you guys into the custom room.
Alright, who can I get into here? Wait. So let's just get a quick recap of the draft from Ruby while we're setting up the customs.
Alright, so if I had to make my predictions, I think AP Brent won this draft. The Hanabi gives her that survivability that otherwise would be a very big issue for marksmen when they're faced against a Grok and a Fredrin. But at the same time, the Lunox sort of makes up for the lack of damage that the Hanabi has. And in the early game, I don't think a Grok is enough to justify the early game weakness of a Sicilian, especially when you're facing against a Hilda and a Yusen Shin, which will give you just so much vision on the map, and the Yuzong has enough mobility to be able to respond to that vision. So I don't really see how Reset can win that early game, mid game. However, if they do last long, that Sicilian is an absolute beast on defense, and they could turn this game around.
Interesting stuff here. We'll just have to see how that pans out. Right now we're just waiting for the players to be able to get into here. Okay. Let's start up the custom game right here. Okay. So did I add the correct people into the lobby? Okay, seems like it. Is everyone ready? So, as a reminder, just pick the heroes that you drafted in MOBA draft to avoid a forced reset. Thank you very much. Alright, so the game's starting up right here. We got Reset versus AP Brent. Now, let's just figure this one out. Game starts over here. We have tama ba yung sides?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So we got the Fredrin pick over here. A key part of
The
the
red
draft.
start, both sides. So I think AP Brent actually got lucky here because the custom gave them the bush map, which plays into their Hilda and YSS very well.
Very interesting. So a strong draft already. And it's being complemented by the map style. Bit of a scuffle going here.
No.
But
Now this is very confusing. The Mincitar was in the gold lane and the Obsidian's in the XP lane.
wait,
Could be some confusion.
are they trolling?
Alright, they swapped lanes. Perhaps the nerfs got to them.
Perhaps. Oh,
Lunox almost picked off early flickers out. Hilda trying to punish. Could be punished here. Flickers out of safety. Alright, Kilo recalls out. Syrinx pops the ult. And they get a successful gank.
good stuff over here from AP Brent. First turtle coming down here.
Wish I was special, making space. The Fredrin starts the turtle. Syrinx still waiting for the opportunity. Or it's Strings, my fault. Zeki pops the Black Dragon. Zones out the Fredrin. Grok is punished here.
Appraiser's Wrath coming in for the Fredrin, but it doesn't do
Ooh.
anything. AP Brent wins the first turtle fight.
Now this could snowball out of control, especially on the Yusenshin and Yuzong. They need to get a trade. They need to have a pick-off. And here's the issue I talked about earlier. With the Sicilian, they won't have much opportunities to do so. AP Brent really making the most out of their advantage, invading the Fredrin.
A very weak early game
But
combo.
the Lunox
No!
ults in.
Lunox ulting in!
Sicilian punished. Light mode's out to safety. Hilda punishing the
The Hilda
Sicilian.
as well.
Ooh, you
They're just
cannot
completely
make
outplaying
those
them.
rotations.
You have to stay safe in this game, especially when you're so early game, when you're so late game focused.
Grok punishes the Lunox, flickers out Fredrin a little too late.
But it still doesn't matter. 6-0 lead in kills for AP Brent. Grok doing his best to just zone out the opposing Hilda. Just being a nuisance right now. Will
Strings
just
get the
being
two-man ult.
engaged. Ooh, the Yuzhong coming in, the Black
Pops
Dragon
Black Dragon. Petrified.
going in.
Shot residue
Ooh.
used up. Sicilian is down. Mincitar with the ult, but I don't know what it can
It
do
doesn't
against
do
four
anything.
with no dashes. It does not matter.
Absolutely destroyed.
4 members of Reset go down.
Man. Second turtle fight going to happen in just a moment here. But it seems like there's some action going on in middle.
Lunox with another solo kill on the Sicilian. This is not good for Reset. Sicilian is their late game lifeline. They have to peel for him.
Looks like they're going to try to
Brent
pull off
secures the
something
second free
at
turtle.
the red, but nothing going to come to fruition. Oh, is this going to be a kill onto the Fredrin?
Versus Wrath is not enough. Lunox is on a roll.
The Lunox pick turning out to be AP Brent's most valuable team member. With a 5-0-4 scoreline right now. Making it so difficult for Reset to farm. Ooh. The Grok to stop them from aggressing any further.
I feel sorry for this Fredrin. He can't farm anything.
Will flicker out from the Sicilian, but it draws in another
ults on
fight.
Hilda. I don't see any reason why he had to ult that. Hilda could not burst. One thing to commend, by the way, is how AP Brent stays disciplined and doesn't full commit despite their advantage. Only the Hilda is poking.
Ooh,
As they could
the
take
Black
tier 2
Dragon
down.
form going in.
Yuzong pops the Black
a
Dragon.
monster set!
Yushin gets the 4-man. Knock up.
Insanity!
4 members go down from Reset
It's going to be a 4-man
as they get the free
death.
tier 2.
Oh my goodness. Obsidia, the only one
Reset.
left to hold on this
At
defense.
the point of no return.
All they can do now is just wish they could reset the game, but unfortunately is all but locked in.
It's only been 7 minutes and the tier 3 is already broken. AP Brent, with all members having no deaths, disciplined, takes the 3rd objective.
Does it even matter though? Blade of Despair going to the Yisun Shin. Man, AP Brent is just building up their equipment right now. Creating such
I
a
also want
large
to
lead.
put some attention onto their gold. AP Brent has twice the gold of Reset. They could feed 2 teams.
Oh no. It's not a good sign when you see that.
Not good at all.
We're seeing a bit of a clash over here.
Brock tries to make
Black
a play.
Dragon form!
Black Dragon goes
Gets
down,
one.
kills the Mincetar.
Ooh, goes in for another!
Yushin with a follow-up. Oh my
Ooh.
god. The targeting
It
on
is
point.
so
Skill
difficult to
layering
deal
on
with this.
point.
If you're Reset, you kind of just have to sit there and watch your towers get taken away. The Fredrin goes down as
Mincetar
well.
misses the hook. Fredrin goes down.
What really can you do at this point? Just a really rough game right now.
Even if the Grok were able to manage a set, I don't think they have enough damage output to kill them.
Oh,
They just get
a
counter
pretty
set on.
decent set. Oh
Sphinx
my
pops
god!
the ult.
Insanity! Another set and it's just
As the Nexus
GG.
goes down, game 1 ends in 8 minutes and 30 seconds. What dominance. What pure dominant display from AP Brent.
AP Brent saw the draft and decided that they could speedrun it. Incredible stuff over here from AP Brent. We see the victory.
23-0 in 8.5 minutes.
One team
They are
is
showing
Midas
you
touch.
why they were the first. They were the first champions of PCS ever.
AP Brent looks like it has Midas touch, while Reset being Chocolate Factory out here. Now we will go into the second MOBA draft. Just to check it out here. Oh.
Right? Blue side. Check. Alright, so while the teams are preparing for the second game, I want to analyze what exactly went wrong for Reset there. And I think the root of all the problems started at the draft. The Sicilian was a very early pick, and it was not enough, like I said, to deal with the sheer pressure of the Yi Sun-shin, the Hilda, and the Yu Zhang. Because that gives them only vision and an XP laner that can be anywhere at all times. I think the main issue was definitely the draft. But even if the draft were to have been equal or even lost, I think just the clean execution and discipline of AP Brent, how objective-minded they were, how good their skill layering was, how coordinated their targeting was, I think they just proved too much of a match for Reset.
At some point, it also was just a team play diff. We could see Reset kind of lost in some team fights, while AP Brent just completely meshed together as one cohesive unit. Maybe it is the draft that just made it so difficult for Reset to play around it and even get some semblance of team play going on, but very concerning for the second game. We will have to watch out. We do hope that Reset can bounce back from this.
When you reset right now, all you want is to mentally reset your team's morale. And let's see if they have it in them. Bounce back from this humiliating.
Yes, sir.
The
Yes,
links
sir.
are sent.
All right. We will open up the draft very shortly. Okay, link. And... Alright. Going back into the draft, is this still the correct side? Or did it switch?
Okay, AP Brent is now on the right side.
Okay. So first ban goes to Reset, banning the Hilda. We're seeing a bit of a trauma ban, perhaps.
Let's see if all it shows is that they respect the Hilda, or if they now have a way around what AP Brent had going for them.
We will have to see. AP Brent banning the carry. Same ban as last game, is it not?
Sir.
Banning the Claude as well. Lots of gold lane bans over here. What could this say about the draft lineup that they're trying to select later on?
I think the fact that both teams are actively banning out gold lanes could mean that their teams are reliant on tanks like utility jungle or enabler XP laners, or just pure presence roamers like Grok and Hilda. Because Claude and Carry are the known tank busters and counter those specific picks.
Very interesting stuff. Could be a very...
And they banned the Granger.
Ooh. A lot of similar faces we're seeing over here.
Zushin is banned. For Reset, I do think they have to secure a roam first. They could go for the Grok again.
Could, but should
Alternative
they?
options could be the Yi Sun-shin and the Zetian, because what did go wrong with them was that they didn't have enough vision in the last game. So the Yi Sun-shin and Zetian could be a game changer.
Coming
and
in, as
they
you
pick
said.
up the Yi Sun-shin.
Do you think with the carry and the Zushin ban, AP Brent are eyeing up that Fredrin? Or a similar jungler?
They could pick up a Fredrin and a Zetian. I think that would be a great
Ooh,
pick.
Grok.
And they go for the Grok.
Interesting.
They could
What do we think
be
about this?
trying
Ooh.
to steal, and they pick up the Freya. So for those of you who are unaware, Freya is currently the second most contested pick, even in the highest MPL stage. So when this Freya goes out of control and snowballs, it could lead to the point of no reset for Reset.
Very scary. And it's also that they're putting all of their trust into whoever is commandeering that Freya, saying that they can be the sole carry of the game if needed. Once that Freya is fed, it's very difficult to deal with. Who do you think RST is going to go for next?
I think
the
Reset
Fredrin.
have to secure. Ooh, So they are
Interesting.
going to be flexing the Yixun Shin into the gold lane to sort of try and deal with the Freya, cause it to be a dead lane, while the Fredrin focuses on jungle dominance. Oh, and they pick up the Wan. Now this is very confusing, because now the Wan is in gold lane. This means that it could be a Fredrin XP in the Yixun Shin jungle.
Interesting
AP Brent
stuff.
picks up the Savior, perhaps for some damage output that they know they will lack since they have that Freya, which won't have enough range.
The Mark special coming out here with the Savior. Second set of bans coming in. This will seal the deal for what type of teams they want to build and what exactly they're scared of. So it would be very
Given
interesting
that
to pay
AP
attention
Brent
to
have
these.
already picked a mid laner, I do think they should just suffocate out the mid lane role. They could just ban Azetian and Kadita, and they don't ban.
Ooh, is this disrespect or is this negligence? We will see in the post-game interview, perhaps.
And their second ban will be the Kaha, which I don't really see the reason why, given that the jungle is Fredrin, which won't even be enough to burst out the Kaha's pickoffs.
We'll just have to wait
But they
and see
could
for
be.
this ban.
They could have predicted that the mid lane would be a burst pick and banned out the Kaha. Never know. For reset here, I think they should ban another XP laner, perhaps a Lapu Lapu, which can quit, or a Yuzhong, type of fighters that can carry and respo wherever you are on the map.
We will see what they decide to pick.
Reset really running down that clock.
Getting those nerves down, maybe. Oh, bit of a
And they banned the
lag out
Yuzhong.
here. The ban of the Yuzhong and a pick on Carmilla for AP Brent. Franco and ooh,
Alright. So they're saying that it's bugging.
it's
Overdraft
bugging.
is
It's
bugging.
bugging. Mobile draft is bugging.
Alright.
Do we have a reset? Ooh, heard that?
Alright, so I think the first 3 picks are confirmed, but we will be picking the last 2 picks.
Interesting. Okay. First 3 picks confirmed. Oh. Okay. So Savior isn't on purpose. We will have some developments. Okay.
Alright.
Okay.
I see. Could you pick red 3?
Okay.
So Savior wasn't on purpose, so we will be re-picking that and we will be banning.
Right. Is there a way that we can do that in this draft, or will we have to send another link?
No, we will have to just settle it over Discord because we don't
interesting
want to
stuff.
reset mobile draft just for another error. Okay, red 3 will be Sicilian, and it's still sort of the same story as the Savior, where they want to go for something more range with high damage output because of that Freya pick.
Should I stream the Discord chat so we can see the drafts
Yeah,
going
just
down?
stream Discord.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So let's go here.
Alright, we're just waiting for reset to...
Oh, lots of misclicks apparently.
Let's see. Is it last two? Okay.
If both teams are fine with it, it should be fine, yeah?
First three picks on. Okay. What are the first three picks on?
First three picks on both sides are Yi Sunshin, Fredrin, and Wanwan on Reset side, and Grok, Freya, and Savior on AP Brent's side. No, not Cecilion, it's Savior.
Yeah, but they replaced it with
Oh, okay.
Right, they banned the Yuzhong.
Ooh.
Right. You set with the final ban?
Ruby ban coming out from Reset as their final ban. So just to recap,
Alright, now
is this
AP Brent with the first pick.
Khalid ban and Kaha ban from AP Brent, and Ruby ban and Yuzhang ban from Reset. What do you think this says about the whole situation over here with the draft?
I mean, I feel like a Reset just had to take out sort of those fighter picks that got them in the last, like the Yuzhang. I would have recommended a Lapu ban, but I do see where the Ruby is coming from, especially since Fredrin, Wanwan, and Yisun don't really have that much range, and that Ruby could punish them one hook.
Truth.
As for AP Brent, they're just banning out meta roamers right now in Khalid and Kaha.
So first
Alright,
pick coming
so AP
in,
Brent pick
Suyu.
the Suyu.
Ooh, is this a... Does this mean that Suyu core is going to be seen here? What do you think that's meant to
Yes,
answer?
it will be a Freya Gold. So the Suyu is actually one of the very few junglers who can match up with the Fredrin in a 50-50 objective fight. The Retri confirm of the Suyu's skill 2 is almost equal to that of Fredrin's skill 1, sometimes even more when snowballed.
So this is a play to try to get back at the jungle. At the jungle
I do think
sort of
so,
retry
especially since
disadvantage.
Fredrin is known as the most dominant jungler right now in the same tier as Leomord in the like. So I do think Suyu is meant to undermine that objective presence from the Fredrin.
So is it interesting that we haven't seen Leomord contested at all in this match?
It is very interesting because in the highest level of play, Leomord is the third most contested pick. So I do think it all just boils down to the playstyles of these teams. Reset sort of banks more on the utility jungle, playing Fredrin 2 times in a row. Despite having already the Yi and Shin, they chose to flex that. And while AP Brent is a bit more flexible with their picks, right? I think it boils down to the difference in the hero pool of the jungle.
I see.
Reset still not picking. Franco and Zaz. So it does appear like the picks earlier were on purpose.
Ooh. What do the streets think about the Franco and Zask pick?
I really like the Franco pick here, since Kaha was banned out, which is meant to be an answer for the Freya, since only the Suppress can stop the Freya. The Franco acts as their way of anchoring that Freya down, trying to make a play, because otherwise it would just run rampant and wipe them all out. Now AP Brent closes off the picks with Melissa.
So what are our thoughts on this draft? Right here.
So again, I do think AP Brent wins this draft because Reset tried to do a little too much. They saw the Yi Shin and the Fredrin both open, and they picked them, which would have been fine if the Yi Shin was flexed gold lane, but instead they picked the 1-1 and flexed the Fredrin into the XP lane, which I do think just comes down to the comfort picks of each player. Perhaps their gold laner wasn't comfortable playing the Yi Shin, but they thought the value of the pick was too valuable to give it away to AP Brent, especially after the multiple 3-man and 4-man sets from AP Brent on that Yi Shin.
Interesting. So we will have to see how this goes down. On the screen right now, given that we are not on MOBA draft, we'll just have the draft flash on screen right here. The bans, the picks, and the final picks of the teams. So may I request that the last player join in on the game. We're missing one, it seems. And which side is this?
That is Reset.
Reset is missing the member. Technical difficulties, apparently.
Alright, while we're for Reset to fix their technical difficulties, let's offer a more in-depth analysis of the draft. So here, since the Melissa was eventually picked into the gold lane and Freya was flexed into the XP, AP Brent have an overwhelmingly huge advantage in the late game, given that they have Freya, which sometimes even can count as a gold lane, they have Sicilian, which is a late game beast, and they have Melissa added on to all that, with Grok's early game presence, making sure that they don't fall too far behind before their late game activates. As for Reset, I'm really not a fan of this Fredrin XP. I don't really see it utilized as much, and the last time I've seen it been in pro play was 4 seasons ago when Onyx Indonesia played it. I don't think much value can be gotten from that Fredrin XP, especially when you're facing off against a Freya. At best, it could be a dead lane, and at worst, that Freya could snowball out of control.
Maybe we could see a Franco core come out, with the Yi Sun Shin being shifted to gold lane, Wanwan being shifted to XP, and Fredrin being roam?
I think that's a little too much, man. Franco can be played anywhere else. This is not Valoran who plays Franco in the jungle. He has a mental condition. It does not count.
Very interesting stuff. And honestly, I think a big part of this draft, or a big part of this game, is how you reset mentally. Because as my co-caster is very aware, the mental aspect of ML is just as important as the skills required to play the game. So they do need to take their mentals in check over here. Not get too tilted. Not throw the game due to tilt.
That is true. A big issue with
many players
with ML is that many players, you know, when they lose their blue buffs, or you know, just like something bad happens to them, they could spiral out of control. Alright, this is an issue with Reset. Apparently, their team member to play Yi Sun Shin does not own the hero.
Oh, what? Interesting. Very interesting stuff. Maybe PCS Frontiers will sponsor a diamond purchase so that they can purchase Yi Sun Shin?
Unfortunately, the 150 registration does not give us the budget for that. We have just asked AP Brent
and VRG to switch out
if they
the Yi
were
Sun
willing
Shin.
to just switch out the Yi Sun Shin, or if they wanted the rerun of the draft. And AP Brent did agree to just replace the Yi Sun Shin.
Good sportsmanship over here. Good stuff, good stuff.
If I won 23-0, very good sportsman as well. And they pick the Hylos, so that gets them out of a bind. So now they have the Fredrin in the core, 1-1 in the gold lane, and Hylos XP.
Interesting, interesting. So, basically that entire draft, but with the Yi Sun Shin replaced with Hylos. Interesting stuff over here. Let's have... Oh, that was a misclick. Whoever I just kicked out, I'm so sorry. Can we get all of the players in the custom game right now? Okay, game start. Right. If everything is set, everything looks good. Let's just start and pick all of our chosen heroes.
So now I think Reset lack damage given that they have a utility jungle in the Fredrin, and their XP laner is a Hylos, and their roamer is a Franco. This Franco could have felt force from them because they were desperate to have someone who would hold the Freya. But even if you do hold the Freya, who is there to burst down that Freya? Because it sure as hell is not going to be a Zask, and it won't be a Wanwan either. I don't see the vision here.
We will just have to see how it plays out. Miracles can happen in ML. That's what the M stands for. So we will just have to wait and see. We don't want to get too ahead of ourselves here. Second game of Reset versus AP Brent starting right now. Let's see how it goes. Any thoughts on how the early game's going to go for these two teams, these two competitors, Ruby?
I think it should be fairly balanced. While Grok does give that early game space, Sicilian being a weak side mid could give Reset more space, especially when they're on a Fredrin and a Franco. I think it would be pretty equal. And our map is Dangerous Grass. This time no Hilda nor Helker to make the most out of it. It should be a fairly equal game. Suyu starts off red and the Fredrin starts off at blue.
Oh, you got a match pause. Quick pause. So we got some action over here at middle. The Sicilian trying to poke down that Zask, but nothing really coming out of it. The 1-1 making a trip.
And the Hyla
Interesting.
swapping lanes yet again.
Once
What is this
more.
rotation we've seen 2 games in a row?
How fascinating. Is this a strategy? Or is this just a misstep from Reset? The Hylas, I assume, to sort of render that XP lane dead so that Freya can't stack up.
But the thing with the Freya is that they can just keep fast clearing and going to skirmishes, and Reset will always
A lot of backup
use those
coming in.
skirmishes.
Will they be able to do something out of
Hylas
this?
pops the flicker.
Ooh.
Vengeance.
Nothing
Suyu
yet.
just goes and steals the green from the Fredrin. Wish I Was Special walls him out.
At that point,
Alright, and that
oh!
successful zone and steal.
Fredrin even getting a
Fredrin
lot
still
of
reaches
HP
level
down
4 off of the Hylas.
will make it very uncomfortable for the Fredrin to do anything at this turtle, knowing that he can just be burst down so easily. Suyu getting in some extra farm over here, stacking up that XP.
And our first turtle starts. Reset out of position.
Ooh,
Zask still clearing mid.
That Franco
gets
instantly
punished.
deleted.
You cannot be that deep.
Oh no! And their Fredrin and their Hyla so low! That Fredrin dead! The Hyla's
Freya
coming up
dives,
next!
and that is why that is such a high contention pick. The dive potential of AP Brent off the charts as they secured the first objective for free.
Will we witness a repeat of last game? Right now, the game starts off the exact same way with AP Brent at a 4-0 lead to start off the match.
AP Brent once again
getting down the Fredrin,
pushing
but
the advantage. Dashes out, ult, and they stay disciplined and secure the blue buff.
But a hook coming in from
Strud hits
Franco,
the iron hook. Wish I Was Special. Taunted, locked down. Guys,
already
under the
off
turret.
to a better start than last
Already
game.
better. Yes,
If your
sir.
Reset, this
They
gives you a
actually
bit
get value.
of a mental boost right now.
Zeki pushing that advantage. A Sacred Boy
Fredrin's
comes
just
to back him
completely
up.
alone right now, but oh!
LK5
Fredrin
gets
gets
the
the
retribution and the red buff off,
But it
but
doesn't
was
matter.
it worth the death?
Going
Zeki
down to
already
the
pushing
tier
the
2
second
turrets. This is so rough if you're Reset.
And it's not much different from the top lane, as tier 1 is already broken.
Wish I Was Special, almost alone in this top. Very scary stuff here. A stray hook from the
Misses
Franco.
the iron hook.
Doesn't really matter. Oh, a good kill from the Melissa.
AP Brent moving on to their next objective, lane tier 1.
Oh.
Suyu gets the pick off as Scrod a little too late for that iron hook. Shrinks already has dashed out.
So difficult for
Okay, and the
Reset to
dive
do
potential
anything.
of this lineup is insane.
Even a Hylas isn't safe from the dives. And another oh, the Sicilian. Simply doing what last game Sicilian could not do. Already early
We're
game
seeing
getting
a very
so much
different
stuff.
story. Sacred Boy on the Sicilian, making it look like it's an early game pick.
And already you can see that the jungle of both teams is just completely belonging to AP Brent here.
Bot lane already at the tier 3. And it hasn't even been 5 minutes. As AP Brent prepared to once again take
the Hylos ult
buff
coming
from
in, but
Fredrin.
with the Grok set,
ult
will it
comes
do
in.
anything?
Scrod
Everyone
ults on
is
the
just
Grok,
so
no
low,
damage.
it doesn't do anything. Even the Appraiser's Wrath can save them.
Barely any damage. And that
And
was
it's
the
just
problem
Sass
you mentioned
left.
earlier.
No
The
damage
Franco can
on
lock
the
down
reset.
someone, but who can burst? Who can burst down who the Franco locks down?
If they were going for some sort of 1-1 carry, it's just not panning out here. Because at the end of the day, 1-1 is the only hero here that has multi-kill potential, really. The Fredrin getting got, but oh, the Franco with the Iron Hook, but flickered out.
was special hooked. Flickers out. They are unable to get any value from that.
Nothing, nothing at all.
Oh, post Nicolam. Okay. Again, AP Brent's discipline shown. Despite their gold lead, it doubles the enemy teams. Despite that, they're not really full committing anything. This discipline, it's something seen with.
And right now, it seems like the Melissa's in some hot water,
that
but
one.
gets ult.
Zeki comes in and goes out.
Flicker hook on the minion
Scrub with the flicker.
Incredible play. If you look at the map right now, Reset's just completely confined to their base area. Going out is far too risky, but maybe they should have thought about that earlier into the game, given how much they died early on. You do not want to be giving up that many early deaths. Another hook onto a minion. Honestly, what can they really do? The Hylos, a bad commit.
With the glorious pathway. What was that for?
Unnecessary.
Into nothing.
You do not want to be taking team fights at this stage of the game. It's so one-sided. You said
the nerves
last
are getting to
game.
reset as they desperately try to get any.
Last game you mentioned how AP Brent had
Scrod misses a hook again, suppresses the Suyu, but it does not
Doesn't
matter.
even matter.
Once again, no one to follow up with the damage.
It's so grim out here. You said last game that AP Brent's money could pay for 2 teams, but right now it's even worse than that. The Hylos going to take a look around, but every single time the Hylos tries to do any sort of zone,
position. LK5 trying to get
dead.
anything, gets bursted down by the Suyu. Is that
Minion
attack or is
wave
that a mage?
coming
'Cause we
in.
don't know.
minion wave coming in, and oh, it seems like it's over.
AP Brent did not give them any time to think. This was not a game, it was a speed run.
So rough out here.
AP Brent secures the
Or
2-0
reset.
sweep, finishing both games in only 1 digit. I think AP Brent actually showed up to the wrong game. This ML or is
This
this
felt like a stomping, man. We do have to see if they did accidentally sign up for the wrong game, but right now, both games being a complete sweep. Just incredible
this
stuff.
was even worse than last game despite the 1 kill. It ended in less than 8 minutes compared to last game's 8.5 minutes. Oh
Despite
my
AP
god.
Brent's incredible discipline, speedrunning both games an incredible amount. Wow. We will have to get some insight onto this from an AP Brent member for the exit interview, for the winner's interview. Can we ask AP Brent who they want to get on stage? Sacred Boy, okay. Please give
Sacred
us a
Boy.
moment while we set up the player interviews. Is everything set for the interviews?
right, AP Sacred Boy is here
Okay.
on stage.
Let's get that set up real quick.
Hello. Congrats on that big win.
Hello po. Thank you po. Thank you.
Right, so 2-0, a sweep, both games under 10 minutes. And to be honest, did you expect it to be that one-sided?
Hindi naman po. Nag-expect lang po kami kung ano man yung mangyari kapag ready po kami. So,
Okay. So walk me through your draft strategy. How much did you think winning the draft contributed to you being so dominant in both games?
siguro, for me, feeling ko it's like 50% draft, 50% execution. Kasi if ititignan na yung picks namin, hindi naman siya lahat orthodox. So, it's more of familiarity na lang rin siguro sa teammates, tapos kung ano yung gagawin. Pati yung here comes.
I felt that, especially with the Hanabi pick in game 1. I want to ask about that real quick. What was the thought process behind that Hanabi pick?
Kasi po, nung draft, like, we were asking what to pick. Tapos, yung gold laner namin na bihira mag-on ng mic. Nag-on mic siya Hanabi. So, yun na lang po yung pinik namin.
Ooh.
Comfort over meta. Great.
Seems like when you have the skills to back it up, it works out in your favor.
When you're that far ahead early, like you guys just snowball out of, how do you stay clean and not throw the game?
I feel like my co-caster is
yung nasa
asking that because of personal experience.
Yung mindset lang po namin para hindi magkalat is yung quotient system. Like, every kill, every death matters for us. Kasi if ever when it comes to quotients, kailangan hindi kami matagilid. So, kahit sobrang lamang, we try to play as disciplined as possible.
Okay.
Very inspiring stuff. If there are no other questions, we just want to ask one last thing. Do you have a message to anyone? Do you have a message that you want to send out to the world after this win?
Any other teams watching right now?
Mag-prepare kayo. Yun lang.
Ooh.
All right.
The
A warning,
aura.
a bold statement from the first champion of the PCS competitive series. Once again, congratulations to AP Brent. The champion makes the return in dominant fashion.
Can't wait to watch more of this, but if that's it, then that should conclude the stream and the game. GG's to both competitors, AP Brent and Reset. And we should catch you next time. Good night, everybody.
GG's and good night, everyone.